the villagers, it was reported to us, had not seen a white person in about 20 years, and which is just, hard for us to even wrap our brains around. And they were a little skeptical, as you might imagine, of what our intentions were when we were there. And every time I would travel to a place like Haiti or something, I would always throw some soccer balls and ball pumps in my backpack, and because regardless of whether you could speak the language or not, soccer was the universal language. And the next trip we made to Tanzania and out to Burundi, we sent a bunch of soccer gear. And if you look on our website, there's a story of this famous exchange of brand new soccer gear for their old, it was just about the inside of an old flat soccer ball that they had left in the village. And it was the beginning of a relationship, which now there's a well there with a big water station, a school, a community center, and that sort of thing that's been developed over the past 4 or 5 years. And when the guys came home, they said the soccer ball did the trick. So it's a curious name for a water organization, but that's how we got our name. Just real quickly, OBOV is we're a 501c3. We formed in 2012. We're based up in Tampa. We're a small organization. We do water filtration primarily. We have dug some wells and things like that, but our primary focus is a water filtration project that you'll see. The vast majority of our work has been in Haiti, Guatemala, and Cuba because it's close by, and then we have projects in Tanzania. We aren't really a disaster relief organization, although in the past 2 years we've gotten involved following the hurricanes, Matthew in Haiti and in Cuba, and then in November we did some water filtration projects in Puerto Rico. They struggled for a long time without potable water, and interestingly, you could get from Tampa to San Juan in a couple of hours direct from Tampa on Southwest with water filtration systems. Curious how easy that was. Obviously, we focus on soccer. And the other thing I note about our group is I'm a volunteer. I've got a day job in real estate working with Andy. It's the same with all the rest of our board and volunteers. So for when we raise money for projects and things like this, 100% of the money goes to people who are in need of clean water. This is just a little map that shows you where we are. It's little stars around. We've got a project. We send teams every year to Guatemala, Haiti, some to the Dominican Republic and Cuba, and then we have some one-off projects in some places like Guyana. And this is kind of hard to see, but we have a couple of projects in Togo in West Africa, which is near where Ebola is. That's where Tanzania is, in case you're wondering. And we also have a couple of water systems in Paraguay. This is a shot in Haiti. Hard to believe people live like this. This is a little village called Boca, which there's a nearby orphanage that has one of our water systems. In a lot of these places, you're still talking about people who really there's no public sanitation, there's no running water, and just finding and transporting water is a difficult thing for people. This isn't really anything that I'm telling you guys that's a surprise, because Rotary's been involved in clean water projects all around the world for many, many years. But scenes like this are common in a place like Haiti or in Africa or whatnot. This is early in the morning, the central watering hole where people are filling up 5-gallon buckets and sometimes carrying them miles home. Most of this transporting of water, if you noticed in the previous picture and this one, that's all women and young girls doing the work primarily, which means in a lot of cases the young girls don't get to go to school as much as the young boys do, which is just a fact of life, which we're trying to change as well. This is a picture from the village in Raton where our namesake came from. This was the only water source that this village of 5,000 people had prior to us drilling a well there. And this lady is you're going to see pictures of her kids in a minute, is dipping water, and every manner of animal that you could imagine was in this watering hole at the same time, right? Things that you guys probably have it on the Rotary website. 2 billion people around the world use a water source that's contaminated with human waste. That's like a third of the population of the world. All right, it's kind of shocking to us because we can go turn on our tap and we don't even drink what comes out of our tap because we don't think it's that good. We drink bottled water, right? I won't read all of it to you. Most of the people that are at risk are very elderly and very young, and it's the primary contaminants are bacteria that can be easily filtered out of water with just technology that's readily available here in America if you deploy it in other countries. This is from WHO, you know, same types of things. They focus a little bit about how long people travel every day to collect water. You know, close to 200 million people drink directly from a surface water source around the world. This is that same village in Raton. You can see how this child's stomach's all distended, probably from worms, that sort of thing. Look at the color of the water that she's carrying back to the house. Same with the girl on the left. This is a map of sort of cholera. The last statistical year was 2016. You can see cholera really doesn't exist in most places in the world, but that little blowout on the left-hand side over there is our good friend Haiti, which was responsible for cholera spreading all over Central and South America following the earthquake. Central Africa also struggles with cholera. We don't ever hear of cholera in America anymore unless you eat a bad oyster occasionally.
What's the target there was a target in the U.S. there, wasn't there? Or did I misread the picture? It looked like there was a site in the U.S.
This one right here, this is, that's Haiti and the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, the dot. There's a dot.
Oh, the dot?
Yeah, the dot in the middle
What
of
is
the
that?
U.S.
Right in the middle of the U.S.
It says imported cholera cases. Oh, they're just saying how many cases, and there's no color.
Right.
The color tells you how many cases there are. So it's basically saying there's nothing in Western, you know, we don't even track it. It's so rare. This is the cases with a color chart, and this is right after the earthquake in Haiti. The purple is quote unquote the Americas. Obviously, it's dropped a lot since the earthquake, but there was a UN team from Nepal that went to Haiti and had open latrines that drained into a river, and it's gone all over Cuba, Mexico, Guatemala, Central and South America, Dominican Republic. And even though the numbers have dropped, look at the percentage of cholera cases that are still over here. Pretty crazy. This is a cholera hospital in Haiti that I visited. Okay, this is the first slide that shows our water filtration system. It's a simple 4-stage filtration system. It has 4 filters. One's 50 micron, one's 5 micron, one's 1 micron, and one's 0.3 micron. That's a bunch of jargon. Most bacteria is larger than a micron. Occasionally there'll be a bacteria that's a little bit narrower than a micron, but passing water through these filters removes first all the sand and worms and dirt and that sort of thing, and the final 2 filters remove the bacteria. We have drilled wells in certain cases and provided things like that, but we do focus primarily on filtering existing water sources. So we typically look for a school or a community center, or sometimes there'll be a community well where we can tap in and attach our water filtration system. So it really just requires water under a little bit of storage. You can even gravity feed water through the filter systems and they work effectively. The nice thing about it is it's not, the technology is not overly expensive. You can buy it and assemble it here in America, and you can produce a lot of water. You can, depending on the power of a well pump, you can easily produce 600 gallons of water per hour versus some alternative methods. It's real cost effective, and we feel like it's appropriate technology because it's sustainable and it's a passive system. It doesn't require a lot of maintenance. We do have to go back and change filters periodically throughout each year of each system, but it's relatively easy to maintain, and it can be maintained by folks that we employ in the countries to help us. Just a few facts about what we've accomplished since 2012. We're in 10 countries. I mentioned them before. We've completed 140 water projects, and in the totality, those 140 water projects process about 3.3 million gallons of water a month. One of the things we add to each of our water systems is a water meter, so we can measure how much water is being consumed. We've built 6, what we would say are higher capacity water stations in different village applications. In 16 and in 17 weeks, we were invited by the Ministry of Health in the southern part of Haiti to begin installing water systems in public hospitals there. If you could imagine going to a hospital and water with worms and bacteria, and they're doing operations and delivering babies with it, hard to believe. And then just this past couple of years, beginnings of disaster relief work after hurricanes. But really the hallmark of what we do is a commitment to sustainability. There are a lot of water efforts that we see where folks have come in and done something once, but there was really no plan to keep it going in the long run. And we try to focus our efforts in each country so that we can continue to keep these water systems running and continue to help them be a blessing and a community benefit for people for years to come. These are just a few pictures of some of the folks that have gone on various jaunts with us installing water systems. There's a boys' home in Haiti and a school. Little boys in Guatemala drinking clean water. I mentioned high capacity water stations. This is a village in Piaru, Haiti, which was this building on the right. We constructed in 2013, along with that's a 1,500 gallon water storage tank. One of the things that we've also gotten heavily involved in is water storage. Most of the developing world does not have consistent electricity like we do, so when they do have power, you want to make water and be able to store it so that later on you've got water for folks in the community. This was so successful that another NGO came in behind us and built that's a large concrete water cistern that holds about 8,000 gallons behind our original water station. And this past summer we went back and we put in a larger capacity water system, and now we fill almost 10,000 gallons of water a day at this village. It's about 2,500 people, and I think eventually we want to think about even maybe building another one of the smaller water stations further in their village. That's a pic. My son's walking to the front door with one of our guys in Haiti. This is Raton, Tanzania, that we talked about. We did hire a driller to drill a well. We created again a water station for the 5,000 people of Raton. Interestingly, this is a completely off-grid application because there's no electricity out there, so we had to bring in solar panels and solar power to pump the water. This is another high-capacity water station in Coupon, Haiti, a different village. The top of that is about an 8,000 or 9,000 gallon concrete cistern, and I'm standing underneath it in the room underneath, which is where the pump apparatus is, the water filter system, and that sort of thing. And those are water distribution taps across the front. This processes about 175,000 gallons of water per month in this village, which is about 3,000 people. This is another one in Haiti that we did this summer in July. Same sort of thing. Where that big poster, where that big sign is, that's another big cistern. It's about 10,000 gallons, and the pump is the pump is right here. What's the result of all this? Obviously, clean water that's safe to drink for folks there. It's one of our board members in the middle. It's always an eye opener when one of us traveling for the first time tips the water back and drinks it, because most of the sites that we go to, it's generational contamination. So no one's ever really drank the water. I mean, they know it's unsafe. And so when they see us drinking, they're like, "You're kidding." So it's really great. When we first started, we partnered up with a group of engineers from Clemson, and even though the manufacturers of all the filters that we buy here in America have all this data, we actually assembled our system and tested a couple of water sites in Haiti. And this is just a test that tests for E. coli, which is the primary contaminant in most wells, to just show how effective it is at removing the bacteria. Mentioned a little bit about disaster relief. This was the end of 16 and early 17 following Hurricane Matthew. We did quite a bit of work in hospitals in Haiti, and I think we have 6 in total. These are big hospitals, some of which are actually cholera treatment centers in Haiti. So can you imagine you're a cholera treatment center treating people with contaminated water? Okay. That's great. Yeah. Okay. It's mind-bending, but in any event, this and again, a lot of places you see this is the water system, and up in the far left, that's the water tower, and that big concrete cistern you see all over is feeding water all over the hospital compound, which is terrific. And it's I want to say this one's doing about 200,000 gallons a month, something like that. And then our latest foray was in Puerto Rico, which was a little bit of an interesting. Puerto Rico is the first world, and we kept getting little nudges of connections of people that we know in Puerto Rico. One of whom is the guy who's on the right, as you're looking at that picture, Wilson Santiago, works with me and Andy at Liberty Property Trust and lives in Orlando. And there's a large Puerto Rican community there, as you guys probably know. And so we went to 8 sites in the day after Thanksgiving, and we went all over Puerto Rico and hooked up solar-powered water filtration systems. And we even had FEMA even learned at one of the sites that there was a water filter system and started sending people down to get water. So it was really, really terrific. And then the final couple of slides. We do have a lot of fun with soccer. We put on a big tournament each year in a very rural area of Haiti, where 8 villages compete for uniforms and prizes, as you can see, and trophies and soccer balls. And you can see that's my wife. And one thing that we're particularly proud of is a few years ago, our guys in Haiti said, we do this fun soccer tournament for the boys, but we need to do something for the girls. And as you can see, that's women, that's girls playing soccer, and it's something that you just never see, right? It's unheard of. And so it's become a huge deal every year to come to the semifinals and the finals of the girls soccer match in Haiti. We'll have 1,000 people surrounding the field, and it's the same good fun that we have right here, right here in America. So, and that no matter where we go, that's a big part of what we do. What's next for this year? We just had an advanced team go to Guatemala to research some sites for a team that's going to go in early June. I've got a small advanced team in Cuba right now. Most of the work that we do is in the area of Guantanamo in eastern Cuba, so it's quite a ways away from Havana. And we're going to have a group go in July to Cuba and install water systems. The big trip to Guatemala, and then during the 4th of July, I'll be going along with a bigger team to Haiti, and we've got several projects picked out right now that we're working on and raising money for and all that kind of stuff. And that'll get us into the fall. So we've got a pretty aggressive schedule. And that's how you find out more about Ball One Village. So that's a little bit about who we are and what we do. And I just want to say thanks. It's a great honor to get to talk to Rotarians. My dad was a Rotarian. And you guys care about clean water, and which is obviously near and dear to our hearts. So I just appreciate very much the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Thank you.